Hi everyone, my name is Tyler King and I'm a graduate student at Portland State University studying speech-language pathology. Today I want to share some information with you about a very important matter, traumatic brain injuries. Yes, it is as serious as it sounds. But before we begin, I want everyone to turn to their neighbor and tell them one thing that you know about the brain. It could be anything. I'll give you all a few moments to think and tell your partner. Okay, great. Now that we are on the topic, let me expand. Traumatic brain injuries, or commonly abbreviated as TBI, are injuries caused by a bump, blow, or jolt to the head that cause your brain to bounce around inside of your skull. To put it into perspective, your brain is a jello like structure, and when it slams against the bony, pokey inner surface of your skull, damage occurs. This damage causes brain cells to stretch and tear, which disrupts normal brain functioning. Think of your brain cells as a vast, intricate, delicate, interconnected web. Now let's compare this to a spider web, which is intricate and delicate in its own right. If a strong gust were to break a few strands of this spider web, it would not be as strong as it once was. The brain cell web and spider web are similar in this regard, in that it is always stronger when all strands or cells are connected. There are two types of TBIs, open-headed and closed-headed. Open-head injuries are just that. They open or penetrate the skull. Some examples of this would be a bullet wound from a gunshot or a foreign object piercing your skull. Since these objects strike the skull in one direct spot, it causes focal damage to one spot of the brain. As for closed-headed injuries, there is no penetration of the skull. Examples of this are a car crash, a fall, or a collision on the football field, or just about anything that causes an acceleration and deceleration of your brain against the inside of your skull. Since these injuries cause your brain to rattle around inside of your head, these cause widespread damage or diffuse damage to your brain. Here is a visual example of what your brain would look like undergoing a closed-headed TBI. As you can see, the jello-like brain accelerates and smashes the front of the skull, and then decelerates and hits the back of the skull. The brain is our planner, our organizer, our decision maker, and most importantly, our control center. This type of damage diminishes the efficiency of our wiring system by breaking the threads of our brain cells. Remember the spiderweb analogy? Now you can visualize the damage that can be done to our brains due to a TBI. TBI severity ranges from mild to severe. Mild TBIs, or MTBIs, are referred to as concussions, which are the most common brain injury. It is important that you do not let the misnomer mild fool you. Mild denotes the severity of the physical trauma that caused the TBI, but it does not account for the actual consequences that happen from the injury. Understand that every concussion injures your brain, regardless of severity, so take them seriously. 1.7 million people in the US suffer from a TBI each year. 50,000 people die each year from a TBI. 85,000 people suffer long-term disabilities from TBIs each year. 5.3 million people live with a TBI-related disability. TBIs are the leading cause of death in children and adolescents. In 2010, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, reported that for every 100,000 people, or about the population of Beaverton, 824 people either visit the emergency room, are hospitalized, or die due to a TBI each year. I know I just rattled off a bunch of numbers, but they all add up to the fact that TBIs equal a serious issue. Okay, now I'd like everyone to stand up if they've played a sport. Yes, even you in the back there. Okay, stay standing. Now, everyone that has ridden a bike or a skateboard before, please stand up. And finally, everyone stand up if you have walked on the sidewalk before. Now look around. You should all be standing. This shows that we are all at risk for a TBI, not just NFL players. Okay, everyone can take their seats. As you can see in this graphic, far and away the leading cause of TBIs are falls. Car crashes are the next leading cause, closely followed by getting struck by or against an object. Rounding out the rest of the main causes are assault and other, which includes sports-related injuries. TBIs can happen whenever, wherever, to whomever. Anything that causes your head to move and stop quickly can cause a brain injury. Examples include tripping and hitting your head at school, falling from a cheerleading stunt, hitting a soccer ball in PE, or diving for a ball in volleyball practice. Now you may be wondering, who is at the highest risk for a brain injury? Those who are at the highest risk are young children, teenagers, and the elderly. Males are 1.5 times more likely to sustain a brain injury than a female. And most importantly, if you have already received a concussion, you are 3 times more likely to receive another one. Just like you, every brain injury is unique, and so are the symptoms that accompany it. Symptoms of a TBI include, but are not limited to, headache or pressure in the head, nausea or vomiting, dizziness or balance problems, blurry vision, sensitivity to light or noise, feeling like you're foggy, concentration or memory problems, confusion, mood changes, sleep changes, and depression or anxiety. So what do you do if you think you have a concussion? First, it is important to note that many of these symptoms are hard to see from the outside, so you are the most important factor in self-diagnosing if something feels off. For example, 95% of concussions do not cause children to black out or pass out. So without you reporting your symptoms, it would be extremely tough for anyone else to know what's going on. The steps you should take for when you are experiencing any of the previously mentioned symptoms are: first, don't hide it. Second, tell a parent, teacher, or coach. And last, rest and recover. And remember, you know your body best. If something doesn't feel right, it's better to be safe than sorry. Imagine you are playing in an important game for your high school basketball team when suddenly you are hit in the head by an air ball. You feel dizzy and the lights hurt your eyes, so you A. Don't say anything. The team is counting on you. B. Tell your coach how you're feeling. C. Shake it off to save potential embarrassment. Or D. Ask your teammate if you should keep playing. Shout out the answer when you think you know it. If you chose B, tell your coach how you're feeling, then you're correct. Always tell an adult your symptoms after getting hit in the head, regardless of the time or place. Remember, it's better to miss one game than the whole season. So if you are indeed experiencing one or more concussion symptoms, don't delay, see a doctor immediately. Next, you need to rest, limit school, sports, and especially no screens. Yes, that includes TV, computers, phones, and tablets. Recovery could take a week, a month, or even up to a year. Your brain has its own unique timetable to heal, so it's important to be easy on yourself. And don't feel guilty that your concussion is taking longer to heal than your friends did. Once you are feeling better, it is best to slowly return to your activities, let your brain ease back into things, and resume once your doctor or trainer has cleared you to do so. This stuff may sound pretty intense, but there's good news. The most effective way to deal with a brain injury is to prevent it from happening in the first place. You can protect your brain a number of ways, including wearing your seatbelt, no distracted driving, so that means no texting, drinking, or talking on the phone while driving, being aware of your surroundings, especially while crossing the street, wearing your helmet, and just being aware that TBIs can happen at any time. It is also a good idea to talk about it. Tell your friends and family about it, and ask your coach if your team has concussion protocols in place. Our brain accounts for only 2% of our total body weight, yet it is the most important organ in our bodies. You only have one brain, so take care of it. Every 16 seconds, someone in the US sustains a TBI. Don't become a statistic. Use your noggin. Here are some great resources to find out anything and everything related to traumatic brain injury. And a big thank you to all of you for participating and listening.